Jeff, I'm gonna start from right now. Whenever I start talking, we get started. Okay. Hello, welcome to my presentation. My name is Cooper Sanders. I am Director of Texas Sober Living. Today I want to talk to you guys about really the best discharge options for sober living and recovery homes. The title of my presentation is Drugz Heard. Really just talking about the implications that happen. You know, we start talking about drug addiction, alcoholism, and on the news we see the opiate epidemic, but we really don't understand the implications of what happens when a person goes through drug addiction or alcoholism, or the families. So 9 times out of 10, a family is going to, if they can afford it, send their loved one to a treatment center or some type of program of some sort, or they end up in jail, unfortunately. When they're coming out of jail, the piece that I want to talk about is the reintegration back into society. How do we reintegrate properly? What are best practices? All these types of things. Okay. Matrix of needs. So when a person gets out of treatment, jail, prison, safety, reintegrating is not a streamlined process. It's a lot of ups and downs, and really just making sure that the support is there to kind of navigate, for this person to navigate. So the first thing is when a person moves into a sober living or recovery home, what they're surrounded by is a support system, accountability, curfew, different rules, things like this, to hopefully help build a foundation that this person can kind of continue on as they're going through their sobriety, recovery. Same thing from jail, same thing from CP. So the matrix of needs, when a person moves in that first bit, they're looking for stability, accountability, and then a support system. This can be found in the 12 steps. Our recovery home, Texas Sober Living, located in Ingram, Texas, what we use for our support system is the 12 steps, which also incorporates, a spiritual component, community. The recovery home has the different accountability things we're talking about, and then the housing, the most volatile thing is going to be stability. When a person has had trouble with drugs or alcoholism, if they don't have a stable environment, like let's say they're going back to the same apartment or same home that they've been using in, then they've already kind of built a pattern in that environment. So what we want to provide is stability in the recovery homes. So the matrix of needs changes as a person goes through the different months of sobriety, years of sobriety. So my needs change over time. The first 6 months, what we're really looking for is stability. A person comes out of treatment and comes out of jail, and it's like either I'm going to go back to my old ways, or am I going to really plug into this new way of life? So the first 6 months, a person, they have different needs from a person who's in the 6 to 12 month window. That's what we would call really the growth window. I've been working in this field for 3 years. I also work in the treatment field. What we see here is beyond stability from 6 to 12, and this is a conversation I had with our owner just last week. That's really what prompted this presentation. Is that I said, hey, Aaron, our guys, when they're going through this rebuilding process, their needs change. When they first move in from months 1 to 6, they need that firm accountability, big 5, make sure that they're checking in with their house manager, all that type of stuff. But from 6 to 12 months, there's a different need. They want to grow, right? They need to be able to have some room to where they can kind of start working on the career, start working on next steps, or building credit, all those types of things. So you start seeing guys move into this next section. And then maybe some of the different resources that we're providing with the recovery homes aren't applicable anymore. So then another conversation came about to where it's like, okay, if we have recovery homes and then we also have apartments available, what is the best way to utilize these apartments? So it kind of segued into another conversation where I said, well, if we're going to have the apartments, we need to make sure that they're set up in a way to where it facilitates and make sure that it meets these needs. These guys are in different spots and they have different needs. I'm going to kind of go through those with you all. All right, stability. So the first 1 to 6 months, just to kind of recap on that piece, what they're looking for there is like a person needs accountability, security, and support, no drugs around them. They need to come home and make sure that the integrity of the house is maintained. And then also the support system. So those first 1 to 6 months, make sure that support system is there. So the recovery homes are good. The next portion, the growth portion, a person is doing job selection and correction, which I've seen to be is like, a person, they're coming out of jail, coming out of rehab, and they need a job so they can support themselves. And then eventually, hopefully the thought process is, we move on to job selection and job correction. Can I do a little bit better? Maybe I want to move on from the gas station or waiter job and do something a little bit different. They start developing skills. Maybe you've been working a job for a year and now you have a new skill set and you can take that to other jobs. And then path setting, like what do I want to do in life? So that's what we kind of see in the 6 to 12 months. This person would really start being eligible for the apartments. So I said we need to be able to provide a solution that satisfies those needs. And eventually, we want to work in the reintegration to where a person anywhere from 6 months to 18 months, and just so you know, there's an article that I'll provide about outlined by Douglas where he's talking about those first 18 months are really what a person needs to properly reintegrate back into society. So reintegration while they're in the apartments, hopefully you can start doing some discharge planning, 5-year plan, and then admin assistance, which goes along with the, there's a Texas Tech scholarship program that we introduced to the guys the other week, and they were able to do some college planning, 5-year planning. But yeah, with the reintegration in the apartments, you'd have freedom, you'd be able to start having some relationships, have girlfriends. So often we see guys move out of structure and then eventually they move into another apartment or move into some cabin or move into some house somewhere, renting some back room because they just want to have a girlfriend, and that's not necessary. This is the conversation that I had with our owner, and I said, hey, if we have apartments on campus, I'd much rather have guys here and let them kind of go through whatever growing pains here with support as opposed to moving off to some, there was a guy, his name is Sean, and you know, just leave it at that, his name is Sean. He was holed up in some house in Medina just drinking himself to death because, you know, he struggled, but we'd much rather have him here in an apartment, and if he so chooses to walk down one day and say, you know what, I've been drinking, I'm having a tough time, we can get that guy some support, as opposed to him being off in some place like that. So, reintegration, I don't know if you guys saw it, I really like this part, I want to show y'all this. We got the baby birds, a little bit bigger, and then at the end you can soar, right? You got a big kick out of that. Okay, so this last thing right here with the apartments, my goal is, and this is at another recovery home that I went to in Dallas when I was doing alumni coordinator. What I really want is just to see guys do well, man. To see them happy and healthy, back on their feet, looking good. This is not how you see drug addicts and alcoholics on the news. So often you see us in handcuffs, you see guys just stealing or whatever it is like this, but like guys with like some good weight on them, healthy, happy, having a good time. Like this is my goal. When I kind of, you know, run these houses and just with the apartments, like that's what I want to see guys do. I want to see them go through that full progression of not just getting into stability for those 1 to 6 months, but hopefully be able to provide a solution for them to stay long-term, have a discharge plan, have a life plan, and hopefully not turn back. My name is Cooper. Thank you all for coming to speak. Yeah! Okay, I'm supposed to get some questions. Y'all have some questions. What questions do y'all have?
How much is the deposit?
Okay, so what we're looking at is for the apartments, it would be $1,300, which is like 2 people's rents. Yeah. So that's the idea, right? It's like 2 of y'all might move in there, or if you want the whole thing, if you're ball like that, then get the whole thing. But we were looking for like 1 month's rent to be put down as a deposit, right? And then,